All right. So welcome back. This is Marriage Matters because marriage matters. So I wanna begin to ask you, my brother, what would be the product of a woman that has to be competing. I'm gonna use the word compete because even if they're not willingly competing, I do think there's some dynamic of competition. If a man has to juggle multiple families or women, and they know how what kind of woman would be produced, what would be the result of a woman in a relationship like that?
That's a very loaded question and one that I take pleasure in answering.
Sure, you can help us. Go ahead.
Yeah, as you formulated that question, my mind went to the classroom setting. I used to teach, and I've been teaching from since the age of 17, maybe before.
Wow.
And one thing that you learn in the classroom is the more students you have, the less attention you can give.
Wow.
And this is why private schools become very popular. This is why homeschooling works. Because rather than having 60 students to deal with varying needs, and sometimes having to depend on the quicker students to help you teach the slower students, you can have less students, limit the amount of students. You take up the charges. It costs more because you still have to equip your teachers and to pay your teachers, I should say. And now you can have more quality time spent individually with the children and meeting their needs, rather than having 60 and, well, who is left at the back? That's going to have to be your problem. And so in the educational system, there's actually a cap that they put on it. And in private schools, there's also a cap as far as teacher to student ratio. Now, if in a classroom setting, this is the case, what would be expected in a marriage? Now, you mentioned that the guy said that, oh, women have always been jealous. Well, let's look at the record. Why have women been jealous? I heard you say in one of our sessions where, in the past, men would believe that it's how many women you have. That's what makes you a man. You're a bigger man the more women you have. And, so if that has been the case and that is the way we think, then there's an understanding as to why women have always been jealous.
Wow.
I don't know if we could look at the manual. And I want to say right off the top, not everything that's in the manual is right. For example, you have a manual with a toaster oven. And they say to you, this person they give you this thing in a story form so that you remember it and you don't forget. This person was so excited that he took his toaster oven. He loved it so much. He had it plugged in. He wanted to make a toast while he was in the pool swimming. So he took that toast. Yeah, he took that toaster oven in the pool and he made his toast. And he ended up being toast.
Yeah, that was his last toast.
Right. Not because the manual gave you a story showing something that is not correct for you to do, doesn't mean that it's okay for you to do it because it's in the manual.
That's right.
So in the manual, we look and we have guys like David, and we have guys like Solomon, his son, that had multiple women. And many guys had multiple women. And you find jealousy being spread all over because in the beginning, it was not so. In the beginning, it should be one man, one woman. Nevertheless, imagine Solomon. This guy had 700 wives and 300 concubines. This meant that just in wives alone, he had enough women to almost have 2 women a day to sleep with to go shopping with,
Hmm.
to have intercourse with,
Mm-hmm.
and the other day would be two completely different women.
Hmm.
For the year, he did not have to see the same woman except just once. And we are not
Man.
counting the concubines yet.
Wow.
So imagine the needs of a woman that needs affection, that needs to spend time with her husband. Her love language, her highest level of, her greatest need is affection. How could this king give his woman affection when he won't see them again till the next year? And so you hear this king writing and saying, making statements to say, well, a cantankerous woman, it's better for you to live in your roof than live with a cantankerous woman.
Man.
And we look at that, and even in different churches or in different places, you'll hear men referring to that manufacturer as a statement, but not taking into account that this man had more women than he could properly give his time to.
That's right.
You see? So my question when I hear that a woman is cantankerous is, what caused her to be cantankerous? If you leave from Solomon and you go to his father, here's his dad. When he should have been out to war, he was at home, relaxing. He looked across the street. He probably was looking all the while. And he saw his neighbor's wife. Nice looking woman, woman to be desired. And now the king sent for this woman. You come here. And when the king sent for you, it's not a request. That's an order. He owns you. That's what happens in a kingdom. The king owns everything. You're lucky to be breathing his air. Lady came, he slept with her, whether she wanted to or not, is another story.
Yeah.
He slept with her, tried to bring her husband in so that he could sleep with her, so that when the lady got pregnant, you know, it would look like it was her husband's child. He refused to do it. So he killed the man. Now the same David took this lady and brought her in his house. So imagine that his wife or his wives, I don't know how much he had, now have to live with a sweetheart that he cheated on them with. And this lady lives in it. So when these guys write and talk about a cantankerous woman and a lady is like a dripping faucet, wait, man, who has the faucet dripping? Why is the faucet dripping? Why is she cantankerous? So men, this is not an excuse to you or for you to use to say women are cantankerous and women are like dripping faucet. The question is to you, sir, what have you been doing?
Yeah. Nah, I think it's an excellent case study, excellent reference with these guys. And if you think about even like different portions in the manual with like Samuel and Abraham, where everybody talks about you just see the contention among the different women. And I think we have been wired to want to be cared for. We've been wired to want affection. We've been designed to want to be loved, and I think within love, the real love, the true love that we talked about a while ago, that encompasses loyalty, and trust, and knowing that I am the one in your sight, or you know, you're the one that has my full loyalty. It means so much, and when that is broken, however, that's where a lot of times damage comes in. You know, David said something when he was mourning his best friend's death. He says something that if you take it at surface level, or you could easily misunderstand where he said Jonathan he was like, your love was better than the love of woman, right? The record scratches like, wait a minute, you know, what was that? You know, what was that, David? Were you and Jonathan on the dongle? You know, was there a little bit of fruit there? You know, what's going on? What does that mean? But when you think about David, who had not just his own wives, but he even inherited, I think began to inherit some of Saul's wife. You know, he had multiple wives.
Yeah.
Yet, imagine a man who had multiple wives, and like you said earlier, they could some of these guys, they could have seen a woman maybe once for the year, right? Because of the amount that they had. Now, he's still saying the love that the friend, the relationship, the dynamics of the relationship he had with Jonathan surpassed the love of woman. And I think if we dig deeper into that statement, what he's saying is there is a deeper fulfillment and satisfaction than sex. And
yeah, especially for women.
Especially for a woman. So sex is one of those great gifts that we have from the manufacturer and from our maker to enjoy. However, he's saying, and think about this guy, he had access to multiple wives, and he's still saying, so that is saying one thing here. It's saying there's something that transcends intimacy beyond the physical. And so when we think about a woman being cantankerous, my question, one of the things I want us to be thinking about is there are different dimensions of intimacy. Most times when you hear the word intimacy, we're just thinking one dimensional. We're thinking physically, but for a woman, her soul, and we talked about this last week, there is a level of connection that all of us as humans are longing for, that you know, within friendship, within marriage. And here's the thing, right? That's cool. You choose your friends. None of us can choose the family we were born into.
Yeah.
But what makes friendship special is that you choose your friend. We have this blood obligation to our family for the most part, right? Most times, you know, a brother or sister is like, okay, we're blood. I kind of have to be there because of blood tie. But when I choose a friend, I choose to say I'll be with you in this or to this. It's the same with marriage or the person you choose to spend the rest of your life with. You choose that person.
Right.
And that is what makes it very, very, very special. So I think what would help us in going forward, especially with that aspect that you raised, like, could it be, you know, when you hear that passage that talks about, hey, the contentious woman, and the man was like, yeah, you see, you woman, it's saying you guys are contentious, but I love the spin in this conversation that what are we doing? Is there something? Am I a cause factor in this contentious woman? Are we willing, guys, to look at ourselves and ask ourselves that question? Am I a factor in this woman being like this? And so I just wanted to use that example of intimacy that went beyond the physical, that studies have shown that women must they're turned on, not it's not physical. It's more physical for us. It's more of a emotional and intimate thing for them. So that's things to be thinking about, my brother, as you raised that. And I bring it go ahead.
I like where you went there, because you are even enforcing in a deeper way the point that I'm trying to make when it comes to David and Solomon. Because you're saying that David made mention that the friendship that he has with this
Jonathan,
and it's not a romantic friendship, but he compared to the love of women. And I like that you went there, because, you know, again, not because it's in the manual means it's right.
That's right.
And a lot of people that are talking about the manual misinterpret the manual. For example, of course, the love of a friend can be greater than the love of a woman if you look at it from this point of view. In the manual, the manufacturer tells men to love their wives.
That's right.
But you will find nowhere in the manual, except in Titus I think it's Titus 2:5 or somewhere there, for those who want to look at it, where it is kind of half suggested for a woman to love her husband, and it's a different kind of love we are talking about. So what is required from a lady to a man, to her husband, is for her to respect or honor her husband.
Right.
The man is required to love his wife. So comparing the love of a friend to the love of a wife, or the love for a mother to the love for a wife, there is two different things, two different type of love, because you love your mom, but you won't sleep with your mom.
That's right.
Or you shouldn't.
Right.
You love your dog, but you won't sleep with your dog.
Yeah, very weird.
You love your friend, but you won't sleep with your friend. And here highlights another problem that David had, that we are ignoring, because of the good points with him, we ignore the negative points. And if you have multiple women and you're cheating on your wife and going after another woman to pregnant her and trying to cover up your tracks, killing her husband, taking her in your house, you can't expect your wife to be all smiles. So from the minute you can love your friend more than you love your wife, what kind of wife do you expect? A cantankerous one.
That's right.
One that is unhappy, one that feels like second best, second place. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. We lie over and over in songs we sing. Whether we are singing it inside the manufacturer's buildings, or whether we are singing it to our loved ones, we lie over and over in songs we sing. If you listen to a love song, I want you to tell me which love song, when a man is singing to his woman, he's going to say to her, "Oh, baby, I love you so much, man. You know, I can't do without you, but I'm going to have 5 others with you, and I'm going to leave you for last. I'm going to leave you for last. Oh, I'm going to love my mom more than you. Oh, I'm going to love my kids more than you. Oh, you're not going to be worth my house or my dog. You know, but I love you. I'll take a grenade for you. But I love my car more than..." Which song says that? Every single song a man sings where he wants to impress a lady, he tells her a lie that she is number one, that she is the only one. She's the only one that tingles him. His eyes, they're only for her. So in our songs, we spit singleness. We spit that it'll be one woman, but it's just to get her. So the woman takes that man on that promise, not understanding it is his screensaver. It is his camouflage just to get her into his teeth. So that's how human beings behave. So please don't let it look like David was this innocent person complaining about a cantankerous woman.
Nah, for sure. And I think you know, one of the things that I'm hearing, I think well, I'm reminded of a onion. And we learn in life that the onion has many layers. And as I think about this onion, I think about the word contentment, because when you cut an onion, there's so many layers. You put this onion on the cutting board and you begin to slice it. It has layers upon layer. And in many ways, all of us as humans are like an onion to like you know, in an analogy. Not that we stink or make people cry, even though we make people cry sometimes. But what I'm saying is that there are layers to your wife that will take so many different years and circumstances for you to unpack. And why leave the onion on your cutting board to go and start peeling another onion? And when you get to a couple layers in that onion, you find out, geez, I'm not compatible with this new onion. But you know, so I believe there's so much beauty, not in our wives and wives, also in husbands, right? But we're more speaking from to the men and the women, that there's so many layers, guys, for us to peel back. I mean, I'm seeing more shades and size of my wife that I each year, as each year goes by.
Right.
And it's like, wow, I know you, but I never knew that about you. Wow, you know, and then you kind of like, huh, I never, and you meet some great layers, you meet some layers that you have to work through, but nonetheless, I want to say, stay committed to your onion, you know.
That's right.
Stay committed and keep peeling back those layers until
It might burn your eyes, but keep peeling.
Yes, sometimes it will burn, but listen, here's the thing, my brother.
Uh-huh.
Here's the thing, right? I prefer to cry tears that are a result of faithfulness than to cry tears of regret because I left an onion for another one. And so many times there are tears of regret because I wish I never left my first onion for this other onion. I prefer to shed tears that in wrestling with to be faithful and to grow with this onion. I prefer those tears. I prefer that struggle because that struggle is worthwhile. So stay committed to your onion and stay content with your onion. And because just like greed, lust is unquenchable.
Yeah.
Lust is unquenchable. And the foolish excuse of the only way for me to I think in another one of the videos the guy said he's just wired, like he's wired that way to have more than one. And I'm like, yeah, in a sense, we are wired to, we are bent toward doing evil, but that could change. And that is a poor excuse because so for me to say that the way to fix my lust is to quench it with more women. That is like saying, well, I have a problem with drinking, so to fix it, I need to drink more.
Yeah.
That is right. So stay like contentment, which is a great thing to have in every area of life. But I don't think it's often spoken of in the context of marriage and relationships. To be content. Be content. Whenever another honor will try to flash in front of me, I say, that honor looks pretty on the surface, but am I willing to deal with the layers? Nah, I already peeled back 7 years of layer over here. I'm not willing to abandon all my work over here and all that we have grown together. I'm sticking with my onion.
Yeah.
So but I want to also, if you permit me, with another question. How do you view, and you said something earlier, perspective, how do you view a woman that is seemingly complaining? Not, we're talking about the cantankerous, the product of a cantankerous woman. Do you what do you think about that, and how do we navigate through what is your advice to men who would think that their wife is complaining? What do we do there?
I don't think that a man would think his wife is complaining.
Okay.
A man knows that his wife is complaining. Because complaining is very clear. That is it's a form of communication. The two greatest commandments, if I could use that term, in a marriage. There are two commandments that cover all the other commandments. They're broken down into two. And one is commitment and the other is communication. So today, whenever you see a relationship not working, one of these two commandments have been broken.
Wow.
And I mean especially by the male. So I hope that maybe next week, I'm not sure what topic we'll cover, but I'm hoping we can cover why men leave relationships. Why they leave or why they leave and start new ones and continue to with the new relationships all over the place.
The new onion.
The new onions, right? New ways to cause their eyes to run, no? But the thing is, no, probably I shouldn't have said that, but the thing is
good.
That
it's good.
That that these two commandments, they're key. Now, what is communication? communication is the relaying of information back and forth. Women have very little problems with communicating. They are professional communicators. So earlier I was driving a car and we went to a certain place to pick up some dog medicine. And there's complete highway, beautiful highway, but there's an off-road that you have to take.
Right.
That it's broken up, and driving on that road, it isn't paved and there are a lot of holes. We started to hear things from the vehicle that we did not hear on the highway.
Oh.
Now, that song that we hear, or those songs, those are the car attempting to communicate with us. Now, it has all sorts of diagnostic capabilities, but this is another way that it's communicating by making noises.
Right.
We can ignore the noises and take the consequence of it. In the case of the video, this lady had a bitter look on her face, a disgust in her song when she said, your man is not a pushover. He's not going to be a pushover. So if you complain to him and you continue to complain with what you don't like, then you are trying to make your husband a pushover. Then what I say to that, if your woman is complaining, you can be like the person in the vehicle that ignores all the songs, all the noises that the vehicle makes, and say that the vehicle is trying to push you over. The vehicle is trying to command you and direct you and tell you what to do and what you can and what you can't do. You know, who are you to tell me I can't go 120 miles an hour? I don't care if it's raining. I am the owner. Okay, sir. Go ahead. The vehicle makes the noise, and you have the option that you can ignore the noise. And you can drive for years ignoring the noise. But one of these days, you'll be behind somewhere remote and you won't be able to start.
Yep.
One of these days, you'll be on the highway going so many miles an hour, and something will fall off, and you'll find yourself singing Nearer My God to Thee. Because you ignore the communication. Communication is like in a mirror. There's communication in a mirror. You don't look in a mirror so you can judge the mirror and get angry and say, you talk too much. Shut up. What do you mean about a coal in my eye? What do you mean about that? What do you mean that my shirt is buttoned wrong?
Right.
You mirror, and you can break the mirror. You can hit the mirror and punch the mirror.
That don't change at all the reflection.
It doesn't change the reflection. It just shows that you do not understand. You're immature. That you are hasty and ignorant. And when I say ignorant, I'm talking the Belizean term ignorant, where you're
short fuse.
You have a short fuse. You're angry.
Angry real quick.
Yeah. And you're also ignorant in the sense of the word ignorance, where you don't know that a mirror is simply there to show you what you need to change and what you need to repair.
Right.
If you're fine and you're doing everything perfect, then the mirror will tell you the same.
I like
you
that.
know? And so women, they are a mirror. So if a man finds his wife complaining,
that's good.
Then she is mirroring to him what he's giving to her. He just has to experiment, change what he's giving to her, and he will get a different
reflection.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know, as you were sharing, there's something here I wanna say to us. I'm definitely going to talk about it. I'll share the principle and then I'll see how, and then I'll apply it to what you're saying. That there's a muscle that I want to encourage all of us who are listening to develop. Maybe you have developed it, maybe you are, maybe you haven't, but I want us to develop the muscle of sifting through criticism.
Yeah,
it's a great muscle to develop. How can I? Because when someone is complaining at you, they're actually it's criticism too, I'm criticizing certain things, and I always say there's a destructive criticism, but there's also constructive criticism. And I
Yeah.
think therein is where we have, that's one of the first ways we develop that muscle. Let's develop the muscle of objectively listening
Yeah.
to the critics, or the critical statements that are coming our way. And it's not easy to do. I remember years ago, a mentor of mine, a close dear friend, I remember we were in a meeting, and the meeting got very, very, very heated. And there was a lot of criticism hurled at him. And I could see some level of distress on him. But so anyways, when the meeting was finished and we were closing up, and I was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "You good?" And he's like, "Yeah." He said you gotta learn how to sift it.
Yeah.
And and it was a seed that was planted at that time, and then now years after, it's being watered. And I remember from my own life having to sit through having people giving people the opportunity to cut me open by asking them, "What do you see in my life?" Right?
Yeah.
Close people, what are you seeing in? And it's never comfortable. It's never pleasant in the
Mm-hmm.
moment. But if we develop this muscle of learning to sift through it, and be willing to say, yes, you are cutting me in this area, but I think you're cutting me right. And I think where you're
Yeah.
cutting me is going to be a good kind of surgical cut. And that, guys, it's a muscle that I want to encourage you to develop. Now, that does not mean that we have to, it's not everything people criticize us. And so like this, whenever they throw stones at you, take it and build something out of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
Instead of taking them and hurling them at other people, I've found out some of my greatest seasons of growth came from reflecting and sifting through criticism.
Right.
And therein I found out, I'm gonna take this. It hurts, but there's truth in what you're saying, and I need to adjust in this area.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is a discipline. That is a muscle. Now, I spoke the principle. I want to apply it now to us as to men and to marriages and relationships. When our wife is complaining, can we develop the muscle to consider what she is saying?
Right.
And consider it maturely. And I'm not saying this prescription because I have not prescribed it. Listen, I'll be transparent. Even recently, my wife said something to me, and I sat there and I said, that is fear. That is fear, what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to work in this area.
Wow.
Because what she said to me, I knew in my heart she was right.
Yeah.
And I said to her, that's fear. That's fear. And I'm glad that she said it, because now I know this is something I can consciously work at. And
right.
Let me tell you, it's benefiting you as a guy to grow personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it will benefit your relationship. So I wanted to just say that, my brother, as you talked about the communication, and that complaining is communication. Let's develop the discipline of objectively listening and sifting through it. Because in her pain and frustration, there could be a little bit of us insult sometimes. It could be a little bit of degrading sometimes. We gotta learn how to put that one aside. All right. Yeah. Don't take that one to heart. The manuals. Yeah, the manual says don't take to heart everything people say. But as you sift that one out, let's look for the good nuggets in there, and see how we can adjust. So I wanted to add that, my brother, that sift for constructive criticism.
Yeah.
in the midst of it. Yeah.
I like that. And I if I could end with just saying two things.
Sure.
2 points here. One is it says in the same manual, and I'm sorry about speaking about the manual, but that's where we get our instructions. We were made
Mm-hmm.
by the manufacturer, and he has instructions on how to live in the
Mm-hmm.
manual.
Mm-hmm.
And it says that the wounds of a friend is better than the kisses and the hugs of an enemy.
Come on. That's right.
So you might have people out there hugging you and telling you, oh, you're not that bad, you're not so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your wife is suffering and
Oh
telling
my
you that she's
gosh.
suffering.
Yeah.
She might be your friend in telling you what she's going through and what makes her unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
And your wife doing that might feel like it's wounding you, like it's damaging you, and maybe she might say it in bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
The same way a car could nicely come to a stop instead of just flinging off its wheel, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that wound from a friend, your wife, the way
Mm-hmm.
she's complaining is better than the hugs and the kisses of an enemy that is trying to destroy you. She's not
That is
complaining because she
great.
wants to destroy you.
Nope.
And I leave that
Nope.
because that's a topic in itself, but I want to put this other point. One of my good friends, an acquaintance of mine, wrote a book called it speaks about two valleys. I don't want to say what the book is the name of the book, but it speaks about two different valleys. And you have a valley of destiny and you have a valley of bad decisions.
Wow.
So we all go through valleys and we go on top of mountains. That's life. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down.
Yeah.
So a valley of destiny speaks of a valley where you're going through a low, but it's not because of your fault. It's just a low that is there to help you to grow. The same way a caterpillar has to go through a valley of destiny when he tries to come out of that cocoon and he has to force himself out. That's a valley that doesn't feel nice. But it's a valley of destiny. After that caterpillar comes from there, he's now a butterfly with a design that makes him look dangerous to predators, and he can fly instead of crawl. But you have the valley of bad decisions. And too many times we find ourselves in the valley of bad decisions and we get upset with people who call us out for it. So a man that his wife is complaining, he's in a valley and he might not understand it's because of your poor decision-making skills, bro. So you decide to get another woman. You decide to cheat on your wife. You decide to stay out and work more than coming home with your wife. You decide to let your wife know that your mom is more important than her. You will never love her more than you love your mom. You love your kids more than her. You are hitting this woman. You take your money and you spend it in the casino or in the bar. And you come home without being able to pay the bills. And so now you're in a valley of bad decision. That's a valley that we should never want to find ourselves in because it's like a valley that you put yourself in. And so when you hear your wife complaining, let it not be because you're in a valley of bad decision. It's because of bad decisions that you have made. And many times we as men make bad decisions. I'm not saying women don't make bad decisions either. But the relationship, the foundation of the relationship is the male. And we have to be careful what decisions we make. David made bad decisions to sleep with this lady, kill her husband, take her in his house. Solomon made bad decision. My dear king, how can you take care of 700 women? I have one and I'm not complaining.
Nope.
I have one and it's a heavy duty.
It is work, my brother.
How can you take care of 700? Man, something is wrong with you. Why are you so greedy? That is not wisdom. You should be the wisest man on the earth, but you don't apply your wisdom to your own self.
Wow.
Let me stop with that before I get into other things. But But don't let it be that you are in trouble because of making bad decisions.
Mhm.
Let that
I
value
like
be
that.
because of destiny. You're making the best
Destiny.
decisions you can make, but you're in destiny. So you
Mm.
just happen to be in a valley. You have to break out that cocoon, you know?
Yeah,
That's a different scenario.
I like that. And I think that's a great place for us to end today, as we I think it's good to end with that challenge. And I think, as you said, that it's challenging us to do the deep work of reflection.
Right.
All right. That it's very healthy to stop and do introspect and inventory and reflect. And I think those are some of the disciplines and muscles to develop that will bring great return
Right.
in our marriage and relationships around us in the days to come. And so I think we ended great there, my brother. I was deeply encouraged in our talk today. Very, very, very rich discussion. And
Yes.
we want to say until next time, guys. This has been Marriage Matters, because marriage matters.